In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Hey everybody. I am sorry for being like 15 minutes late almost. But if anyone wants to join, the link is in the chat. And I have a little bit of a Luke update, but it's really not much of an update. It's I talked to his daughter Wednesday after last week's stream, and Luke is in the ICU still. He is sedated and on a ventilator, and that is not much has changed since then, as far as I know. So, yeah. If anyone was wondering about Luke's situation, that's it. Like, it's the same as last week, and I will say continue to send your thoughts and prayers to him. We want him to get better. I know he has a whole church community. He has us in the comics community. He has a wonderful family, and yeah, like we just all want Luke to get better and come back here so we start more on time. And Dragon Media LLC is in the chat. Hello, hello. We are all hoping for the best with Luke, and if anyone does not know, some more sad news today. One of my favorite actor slash comedians, Norm Macdonald, has reportedly passed away today at age 61. Slash comedians. Whoops, you don't want to. Which, that sucks. Funny dude, especially if you like dry humor. Just not a good week, and my computer is like frozen, so I have to kind of look on my phone next to me. So if you see me looking away, I'm looking at my phone kind of to make sure that I don't look completely dumb, but I'm also looking more dumb looking at my phone. So there is that little bit of awkwardness. The Dragon Media says, sad to see him go. Yeah, yeah. It's just been a crappy like last couple years on like fan favorites of celebrities. But yeah, like one of my favorite Norm Macdonald jokes was actually his 2011 stand up he did for Netflix, talking about uh, the heart only knows violence. He was like, yeah, the heart, it can kill you. Some people will be like, that guy, he's got a big heart, and I'm like, yo, you better watch out, because it's gonna kill you. But you can actually stop it if you catch it early. But you have to attack it with like a defibrillator, because that's all the heart knows is violence. If it attacks you, you attack back. It's like, and I bought some for me and all of my family, and show them how to do it. You can do it to yourself, because the heart can will attack you for something stupid like you ate an egg. So once I get mine, I'm gonna go on a roller coaster and eat an egg, but I'm gonna defibrillate myself just to be like, "Whoa, I ain't do nothing," and you won't. It's a great, better joke when he did it. Um, but yep. Hey, Comics Mate is here. Hello, hello, Comics Mate. Um, and if anyone wants to join the chat, I did post it, and I will post again. If anyone wants to just join, good fun times. Um, I believe Sam's coming. Uh, but he should be. I hope he is. Um, we didn't do a stream last night, Dragon, but we did one last week because we only do weekly, and did okay. We did alright. Um, I always feel like we do a little rough in the beginning. Mostly I do rough in the beginning. Um, I'm not. I don't. There's responsibility, and Luke was definitely the more responsible of the two. So that's why he definitely needs to get better, right? Because
See, your actions have consequences. When you oppress people, they rise up in a fiery anger.
I feel like that's how it is, kind of towards me. It's like, yo, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. We're gonna rise up in a fire anger. I hope y'all don't do that. But if y'all do, cook me at least medium rare, like proper, kind of like a steak, like a nice fine steak, maybe some garlic butter. Um, but because a cannibal's funeral is right there on the table. Don't eat me. All right. So I'm rambling. Comic news. While we wait on Sam. Oh, it would help if I apparently did not send Sam the link. Oh, yeah. I guess that would help. um. Yeah. All right. So Dark Griff. Yeah. Like the last 4 weeks. It's been mostly me and Sam, aka God's Black Friend, doing the show alone. Um, Luke got the Delta COVID strain. I think I know he got COVID. Um, and it's hit him pretty hard. And I know like the first week he just said he felt bad, but apparently in like the second week, third and fourth, um, he's been in the hospital on like the ICU, sedated. Is what his daughter told me Wednesday. Um, he's I don't want to say he's doing bad, right? But he is in the ICU, sedated, and not too much besides that. And he's been there for like a while. I know uh, his wife and stuff, and his daughter are, thanking everyone who does put them in their thoughts, and him and them in their thoughts and prayers. Um, but yeah, in fact, yeah, he's still on a ventilator. He's still sedated. Um, that is the update, which yeah, he's been in the like 28 days. So and apparently the hospital doesn't allow visitors. Is what his wife has said, because I'm slightly reading it right now. So bear with me if you're cool with the rambling. But yeah, um, they have him on a ventilator. It's been about 28 days. His wife said like she's never um, haven't been away from each other this long. She hasn't actually heard Luke talk in like 12 days, and she posted this on the 11th. So today is the 14th. So he hasn't talked in like 15 days, or at least she hasn't heard him talk in like 15 days. Because again, the hospital doesn't allow visitors. Um, Monday through Friday, waits for like a 3 minute phone call from the liaison on weekends. She has to summon the courage to call into the hospital to get a report. Um, she won't walk away from the living room phone or the kitchen. She plans her showers for when her daughter will be near the phone, or insists like yeah. So Uh, the only like last word she heard from him is "Pray for me, I love you." As she heard like the doctors set up like him on the ventilator in the background and stuff. And that was like 28 days ago. She said so. I'm like I know it's not really a cheerful thing to talk about. But Luke is very important to me. He's like my stepbrother. Right, at least that's how we got to know each other, and we bonded was actually on a live stream, and we bonded through our love of that movie Step Brothers. And we started quoting it, and then we started quoting like other Will Ferrell movies, like typical uh, dumb guys do. And we were like, did we just become best friends? We just became best friends. And then we did the take a break with Luke and Dutton. That's been Luke List. So not saying he's the wind beneath my wings, but he's the wind beneath my wings. But yeah. So that's unfortunately all I do know. But I let's get on some comic news, right? Let's get on some comic news. Um, so Batman '89. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Batman '89, it is a comic book based on Tim Burton's Batman universe, like his '89 series, right? All right, so I did get a mention that one surprise guest is going to be like super late. It's not Sam though. We did have a guest. Let me super late. It's okay. But all right, so let's go back to I'm sorry, Batman '89, the super gothic, trippy neon like deco architecture, like Michael Keaton Batman, right, with the insane, ridiculous, over the top villains. So DC decided, hey, people really like Batman '89, and they also like Superman '78. The classic Superman movie. That they decided to do two comics based on those two movies, right? Trying to hit that nostalgia money. A lot of companies are doing this. The Superman is excellent. If you like the '78, which is chef kisses, it's like the best Superman, right? Just the best Superman. It hits that feel the great, just it's captures it. I think Robert Venditti who did Green run on Green Lantern after Jeff Johns. He did an amazing Hawkman comic. He's writing that. So great write on that one. Batman '89 though, they brought the co-writer of the original movie, but it doesn't feel like Batman '89. Um, where those movies were very like escapism and kind of goofy, and yeah, they were like, Gotham is corrupt and crime, and you know, um, but it was very much it played like humans were cartoons, right? The comic feels more like they watched NBC last year. Like issue 2, Batman has like inadvertently killed like 3 people. Like he did the classic, like, I'm gonna throw smoke bombs. Cops are like, I can't see. But instead of just doing that, they're like, I can't see. Now I'm gonna shoot blind. And Batman's like escaping. Um, and basically the cops like hit someone, and then like giant protests happen, and like Batman flees into what is considered like the the black version of Gotham, like the black town. And I'm like, they never really mentioned anything like that in like the movies. It's weird. You're trying to be political, and it's like, please protest, and they don't say Black Lives Matter, but it feels like they're very much trying to get that. It's like, I think people wanted like Batman '89 to have like just cartoony stuff, and I feel like a lot of like today's stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Why does it sound like forever and like yeah. Yeah. It's that universe that like Schumer kind of he did the third movie and kind of killed it because they were like Tim Burton's movies too dark, and it's like, no, not really. I mean, kind of, but no. Um. Yeah. Let's see if it pops up. Wait, show. Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, I'm not saying, like realistically, there would be probably a section in like a large city like that. You're like, yeah, Little China or whatever, because Gotham's loosely based on Chicago, which kind of explains why like Chicago has so much crime and Gotham has so much crime. Um, not that's neither here nor there though. It's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, like you have like Harvey Dent in it. You have like Batman who's like, I'm gonna pay for like everyone's colleges and like this black community, and they're like, till how long? He's like, till my money runs out, and it feels like very much like, oh, okay, you're doing Bruce Wayne with white guilt stuff. I don't know. It's weird. Doesn't feel like it captures the feeling at all of the '89 movie. Um, if it feels like just someone was like, I'm gonna watch NBC and then like kind of coat this with Batman. Um, I don't know. It just feels lazy to me. Like it doesn't feel at all like the movies. In fact, even the art doesn't really capture that same like lighting and architecture and man, I just the classic Batman like Tim Burton '89. Oh, I think it is the great. Mwah, just looking at the landscape alone is perfect. And you know what? Sam is here. Look at oh
What's
my
up?
god! Look at Sam. Looking fresh, fresh.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You know what? If you wore like red and yellow, Slim Jim might sponsor you, my dude.
that's that's another sponsor to keep in mind for the future.
Yep. RC Cola and Slim Jim. We are
RC
just
Yep.
We're just
We're
trying to
really
get
rolling in the dough
sponsors
in the
of
future.
like the cheap stuff, which I mean, I guess Slim Jim really ain't that cheap. Beef jerky is expensive,
Right? They got money.
right? Welcome, Sam.
What up, Dragon Multimedia? What up? What up? What up, Comics Made?
Yeah, so I haven't really been highlighting things because my internet and my computer is like, hey, anytime you want to do something, we just kind of want to like, oh, look, it now it wants to do things. Look at that. Look at that. Just
There we
like
go.
butter. Like, I can't
Wait,
believe
do
it's
I
not
have the
butter.
ability to highlight things too?
I don't know. Maybe. Do you? You might.
I'm
I
clicking
don't
on
know.
stuff. Nothing's happening.
All right, then you don't. I have the power. Like,
Dang
I'm
it.
like He-Man, but, like not the Kevin Smith one. Just, I have the power.
I didn't even bother watching it. Was it as bad as the internet was saying it was?
He-Man was in it for like a total of, I think, maybe five minutes. Through all 5
Ugh.
episodes. Maybe 10 minutes, but one of them counted really as like a dream vision fight thing that was like an impersonation, and everything
So in
else is more
person.
like, and everything else is like 2 minute like flashbacks per episode. Like, oh, we gotta get our 2 minute, like, let's just do a flashback of He-Man. Of like someone remembering He-Man, but it's,
But not actually.
yeah, it's not really He-Man.
Oh, Kevin Smith, how far you fallen?
Uh, yeah.
What are we talking about this week?
Um,
What's on the agenda?
well,
It's good in comics.
I'm a little like, hey, I gave updates on Luke.
Okay.
Norm Macdonald passed away.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he passed away at 61. Cancer. Apparently, he's had it for like like 9, 10 years. He's been wearing like a toupee for like about the last 8 years. Like, no one knew.
Oh wow, I had no
Yeah, it passed
idea.
away at like 61.
Dang, R.I.P. Norm Macdonald.
Oh snap! Look at this. You got a fan. You got a fan,
Do
Sam.
we know? Oh, Danielle, you like the high top. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to my barber.
Yo, you know what though? I kind of want to put like little Army Men action figures on top of it.
Oh, okay, you can feel that way.
Because
I'm not
then
gonna
it'll
have a
be like
negative
they're
reaction
fighting
to
on a
that.
kaiju, and I mean, like my head, like I don't have the hair to really like support like little Army Men, but you kind of do, and they're like, oh, we're on top of the kaiju, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm called the Black Mamba, and people are like, whoa, this is going to like a porno section. This is a family channel. Calm down.
Whoa, why'd you go straight there? When you said Black Mamba, I was like, oh, like Kobe, and you were just like, nope, taking it in an entirely different direction. Oh.
It's what I do, man. It's what I do. Actually, there is one thing that have you seen the Captain America comic?
No, I don't read Marvel comic books because I like fun and creativity, so I try to avoid those.
Dear sir, you might have a point there. Uh, all right.
What happened?
You know what? I need you to talk while I try to
Okay,
find this.
comics
You
mate,
kill time for me.
You are 100% right. The look on my face was, wait, what? When you said that thing about Army Men on my flat top. But what else is new? Comics are fun. We hope Luke gets good and comes back soon. I've been watching anime lately.
Ooh, what anime have you been watching?
I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Really good. And I just started watching Tokyo Revengers, which is also really
Tokyo
good.
Revengers. I have not heard of that one. What is it
The,
about?
Tokyo Revengers is it's a. Have you ever heard of Erased?
Erase.
Yeah, the anime. Okay, if you've never heard of either one, they're similar,
Yep.
but Erased
Okay.
is a little bit more popular. But anyway, Tokyo Revengers centers around this guy in his like mid-20s who kind of hasn't made anything of his life. He kind of just like looks at his life as like kind of having failed, and he sees a report that a woman has died on the news, right? And then he remembers, oh, that's the girl that was my one and only girlfriend during middle school. He's like, so he gets really bummed out that she passed away. Then combined with like his own like, oh, I haven't done much with my life. He's like, oh, he's kind of like, woe is me, my life sucks. And then the next day he's waiting for the train, and someone pushes him onto the subway tracks just before the train comes, and then he
Kind of a dick.
blinks, and then he blinks, and then he's back in his middle school body, and he's like, is this what people say like happens when you're like your life is flashing before your eyes, right? And so he's back to his middle school body with all of his memories of the other 12 years, and he runs into his old friends that he used to have like in his regular life. In the future he has no friends, but he used to have friends in middle school. In fact, he was like a member of this like gang of delinquents in middle school. It was like this little tight group. And what he ends up figuring out is that it's not his life flashing before his eyes. He's actually time traveled 12 years back in time into his own body. And now he's trying to prevent that girl that was his girlfriend in middle school.
Oh, okay. See, me, I would be like, I went back to middle school. I'm gonna invest in Bitcoin. Like when it's like a when it's like a penny, I'm gonna invest like I'm gonna dump like 2 tax returns. Every tax return I get will go into Bitcoin until until it hits that big spike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
So, so his plan is to save. So there's all these people in his life that actually died because of this gang that was only like a middle school and high school gang when he was a
hey,
little kid, but later in life they become like a major like yakuza gang in Japan, and they end up being responsible for the death of like people he loves. And so he's trying to take this gang down like in the past while it's still like a punk little high school middle school gang, so that it doesn't end up killing his friends in the future.
oh, hey,
But I'm,
look, this is
yeah,
cool. I got this sent in the mail today by Cody. He's been on the channel before. Jack Irons.
that
This
looks
is
pretty cool.
Yeah, this is like a metal card. So it might look kind of crappy because the reflectiveness, but this is the gender bent of the character. Waifu, cyborg, cowboy material. And by the way, Comics Fan wants to know what's this anime called again?
Oh, Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers.
Yes.
You know what,
If you have,
man?
it's on Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll is also included in HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, it's on there too.
Nice. I have HBO.
Yep.
Well, my cousin has HBO, and I have access to my cousin's email, so I have HBO. I've been watching Promised Neverland.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but I hear
Oh
great
my
things.
god, it is fantastic. So Tyler Carpenter goes on and on about it, and I'm like, yo, I understand why. Um, you know what? Our third guest has entered. I'm gonna add him. But I'm gonna talk about Promised Neverland, right? So it's like an orphanage. Of like kids like infant to like 11 years old, and like you have the caretaker they all call mom, and one of the girls like she has like obsessed with her like teddy bear and stuff, and she gets it like adopted, and mom like takes it to the gate, and one of the kids is like, oh snap, she left a teddy bear, uh you know I got time. So like two of the kids with the teddy bear, they run, and they kind of discover like the little girl is dead. Um, uh, and then is hung up at by the feet, up in the air, kind of like almost like butcher meat in a way. And
Oh dang.
the kids freak out. They hide. Like mom pops up, sees like the teddy bear, looks kind of suspicious. Uh, Demons come and they put the kid in like a cryo tube thing, and they kind of discover that the whole orphanage thing is more or less it's almost like a yeah. I'm not gonna spoil. Like this is all in the first episode, but
Yeah.
they're like, yo, are we like?
It's like
Are
some
we
sort
being
of
sent to a
front to like.
different-
It's like some sort of front to like give kids to demons.
Man, like that's almost like just the first episode. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay.
I got that one in, but yeah, it's great. It's like
They're
a,
just children. That's comics, mate.
you know what? And talking about teddy bears, the man has an icon of a teddy bear. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
This is my good friend, Blue Samurai Zero. Your
Hello.
boy Blue.
Hello?
Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear myself in my own computer.
We
Yes,
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay, sweet. Hi, Sam. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
If
meet you.
anything, do sign language. Like don't show your face, but do sign language.
I am.
And- you know what though? I thought about this, right? So like Naruto, a lot of their like magic, jujitsu stuff,
The hands
is done through like signals and stuff. Imagine like someone accidentally is like, you know what? I'm done talking. Like he'd be either so fast, or like accidentally while talking, he'd be like, "Oh snap! I just summoned like a fireball. My bad."
You know what? You know what? That's it.
How do you signal in sign language? Talk to the hand.
I would assume
That's pretty much the same. Okay.
Well, you could just go this, which that's fuck you, which is very funny because like that's fuck you, and this is thank you, and I'm like that's very similar. Like thank you.
Whatever happened to the
Fuck you.
middle finger? What does the middle finger mean in sign language?
Same thing.
Oh, all right.
It's kind of like if you're like, ah, man, you're a motherfucker, and then you're like, oh man, fuck you.
Yep.
By the way, what were we talking about a minute ago? Some horror story that victimizes children, but it's for children, and what?
Oh,
it's
that's Promised Neverland. So it's like kids at an orphanage kind of discover that some of the other kids who have been adopted may not have been adopted because like one little girl who got adopted ended up dead and like collected by some demons.
Oh,
And,
it's an anime. I see
Yeah.
now. Okay.
anime manga.
So when the claw reaches down and comes for them, it's not necessarily taking them to heaven. Got it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The claw.
it's good. It's good. The funny thing is, so Tyler Carpenter of Draw and Talk has been like really beating the drums on this. And I gave in and I've been reading it and stuff. It's fantastic. The series is already ended. It's like 23 volumes total. So I mean, it's not too bad. But if you have like Shonen Jump app, you can watch it for like $2 a month online.
Yeah. Oh, also for those who are listening and liked the description of Tokyo Revengers, earlier I mentioned an anime called Erased. It has a similar premise with another middle-aged guy who travels back in time, but he goes even further back in time into his third grade body. And also, he like when he was in third grade, there was a it's all explained in the first episode. There was a series of child murders. And so now that he's traveled back in time to his third grade body, he's in his third grade body with his like 25-year-old mind. He's gonna try and discover the identity of the child murderer and save his classmates from being killed by a serial killer. And so it's basically like really smart third grader versus serial killer.
See, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, so that one's called Erased, and I highly recommend it. It's really good.
I like that. That's cool. Because this whole thing of like, if you got to go back in time, but you were stuck in your own body, how much would you want to be permitted to remember, and how far back would you go? You know, because like if you can't remember everything, because that's just not fair.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be given the gift of some kind of do over with a clue, how big of a clue and how far back would you go?
Well, to be fair, I'm 29 and I don't remember a lot of things
Okay.
in my lifetime already. So, if I went back in time, I'd definitely forget stuff.
I mean, I don't have anything traumatic like loved ones being murdered. So I can't say there's like a specific year that I want to go back to. It's kind of just what Dutton was talking about. It'd be like, I'd take all my like Christmas money instead of spending it on like toys and like bicycles. I like spend it. I could like I'd buy Apple stock.
Yeah,
right?
I would become
Like
rich and powerful. I would become like super rich and powerful through investment manipulation and stuff, and then you know what? Just be like, I got my money legally. Now I'm gonna get it illegally. I'm gonna become a Colombian drug lord. They're like, you already are a millionaire. Don't care. It's the thrill of it now.
On second thought, I would go back to my own middle school body and try and stop 9/11. That's what I would do.
See, that's a big one for people is like, you know, the earth-shattering events like stopping 9/11, you know, and it's like, you know, how many of us would it take to do that? But you know, I'm a little older than you, but I'd be older. Like, I wouldn't look weird storming into an airport to stop some guys. You might, because you're a middle schooler.
You know what though? I feel like the underlying frustration is, imagine like, you know, like you're 25 or 29 or whatever, and then you get put back in like your third grade body, which is what, like maybe, I don't know, like 8-ish, 9. Imagine going, dang, I can't drink now. I can't smoke. And
can't hit on the teachers.
Can't hit on the teachers.
But I know how to.
So like, I wonder like, because you would have to go through puberty all over again, but like mentally, would you be like, man, I'm suffering through blue balls right now?
Yes.
like the frustration, and you're like, I came back in time to stop a killer, but mentally I'm now sexually frustrated. I became the killer.
I'm way more boring than you. I'd be more like, okay, you know what? I know why I got insomnia as a kid. I understand why that happened. I just fight it anyway. Like, I'm not buying all the stuff that would just fade away with time. I don't care anymore because I'm old. I'm old in a tiny body, and I'm gonna get my sleep and save my money and lift weights and avoid the things that got me injured. And you know, just like health from here on out.
Pizza parties? No thanks.
No, I love pizza. It's just I'm gonna be like the only 13-year-old counting calories at the pizza.
Be like, man, you don't know this, but that slice in like 2 years from now is gonna go straight to your thighs.
I know, because I've seen it.
You know what? You could be awful and like go to someone and be like, your hair's so nice. Shame it won't be there forever. And just walk away. They're like, what are you talking about?
What?
Oh, and the other thing is you can't go through dating again with your adult mind, because it's just like every woman you see is like, you're a child. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just no dating until 18, 20, because you're older. It's like it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, it would feel weird and pervy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are among the things I'd want removed.
You know what though? You could hit on your high school teacher, because there are a lot of reports on like high school teachers Never
Or
mind. You
those
know what?
hidden
Never mind.
reports from like
Never
10
mind.
years ago, like all those teachers that were like secretly having sex with their middle school and high school students. You're like, she seems like the type.
Oh.
there, a 14-year-old going, "No, I don't need counseling for this."
Yeah.
You know what? You know what, Blue?
Hmm.
Actually, wait. I do want to share something with y'all because I did have it up and I did mention Captain America earlier, and I had Sam stole, and Sam stole too good.
Mhm.
He so he stole too good.
Yup.
So
And it seems I have to keep stalling
let
since.
me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the moment. Yep, there we go. Boom.
There we go.
All right. So, uh, Captain America. This is a Marvel Unlimited exclusive, which is a digital. They said last year that they're gonna do more Captain America comics on their Unlimited thing, and they're gonna go more patriotic. And some people, me and a few others, are like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit that X button on doubt." But we'll wait and see. And it turns out this is what they mean by patriotic: is you have a writer um, going through certain things of like Captain America in his day, going through his day, and instead of like saying anything of substance, like this is not a meme. This is actual black border something racist.
That's how it was
And
public. So okay,
yep,
when I
Public
first
and
saw
then
this image, I thought that somebody tweaked it, but no, they
yeah,
published it
no,
this way.
this is published just like this, like Captain America talking to a governor, which some reason he looks like he's in a cosplay for like
Yeah,
the
why does he have
American
a red, white, and
Revolution,
blue
and,
coat on?
and it just says national platitudes.
Nationalist platitudes, because nationalist is now a bad word.
Even though Nelson Mandela was a nationalist.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we've really lost any good sense of nationalist, even making it distinct from patriotism, which is not the same thing. But nationalist used to have a good side and a bad side, but everybody's lost that now.
Which you know what the funny thing is I'm like, what kills me is, all right, one, I find as a writer, I find this to be incredibly lazy. Um,
Yeah.
like
But that's like
you can't
kind
even
of par for the
do
course.
dialogue or anything thought provoking. But here's the other thing: is you can take like right here where it's like a bunch of dudes, talking, and it's something incredibly racist. This is how I view it, right? There, like the dude in the middle, right? He's mad.
Mhm.
You have Captain America. He's looking like kind of eyes closed, sad. He could be like, Hell Hydra, right, Cap? Blonde hair, blue eyes should have gave away that you were a traitor. He could be calling him a white nationalist.
Hmm.
Right, yeah, there are a lot more creative ways to go about doing
You
that.
know.
I mean,
But
it's not like Marvel doesn't have fake countries already, and they could just use one of those fake country names for a people to be racist against, and that way it's not towards anyone real.
there's another good creative idea. And none of these ideas were things that were thought of by the people at Marvel because, like I said, like I like creative, cool things, and that's why I don't read Marvel comic books anymore. I like fun and adventure and creativity, and I'm not gonna find that there. So, yeah. At this point, I'm kind of like no longer surprised, right? Like when they do things like this or try to depict the Red Skull as Jordan Peterson, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's kind of par for the course for the people at Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I
what
kind of
kills
think
me is just it feels like like writing is getting lazier and lazier.
I mean, I don't think the medium of writing or the medium of comic books
No.
is getting worse.
No,
I
but
just
at least
think
like
that
on
the comic
mainstream.
books at Marvel and DC are getting worse because they're hiring the worst writers, and also there are some good writers at Marvel and DC, but the mandates I think coming from on high are these
Yeah,
like
see, you know what though?
weird
I want to be an
political-
editor, and I'm gonna be like,
you know what I mean?
all right. So if I was an editor at Marvel, I'd be like, yo, all right, we're cutting the line very much. Like, there's gonna be like maybe 20 titles total, and I will mail like cocaine to every writer and be like, I need you to not watch CNN and MSNBC, like any politics. But here's some cocaine. I want you to go crazy. Like picture like 80s Hollywood. Go crazy. Like if you think this is off the wall, over the top ridiculous, just so you know, you might need to do another bump and go farther.
No, I would try out certain, like if I
Oh,
had this
see, yeah,
idea-
yeah. You want to be a writer for me now? Oh, you doing that? I would try that out.
Justin, when
Say
Luke gets
that,
out of the
Sam.
hospital, I am so telling on you for this one.
Right? Cocaine bumps and right. That's how I run editorial of my comic book company. No, I would just like so like we pinpoint the problems is like there all this politics in comics is ruining comics. So just be like no politics. No right-wing politics, no left-wing politics. Just adventure stories about superheroes saving the day from villains. Right? I'd be like, okay, no deaths and resurrections, no politics, and a character only gets to exist in one book at a time. Okay, so there's
Yeah,
no
you
like
know what? Yeah,
Avengers book with Iron Man in it happening at the same time as an Iron Man book, but like they're like one has Iron Man off planet, right? It's just like no, that's
you know what? Actually,
dumb.
I agree with that. Like, you can either be in a solo book or you can be in an Avengers book or like a team book, but you can't be in both.
Yeah,
And if you
I
leave the
think-
team, then you can get a solo. Like.
I remember
Yeah.
the footnotes in 90s X-Men saying, the blah blah blah, and they mentioned Wolverine, and then there'll be a footnote that's like Wolverine's over here this month, and
Yeah.
it made sense
Yeah.
because he was.
Yeah.
yeah. But like we can't trust them to do that these days. So just to simplify it, hey, you got a Wolverine book? Okay, X-Men, and there's no Wolverine in the X-Men. Well, there's no Logan. But you can use that other Wolverine, that the girl one. You guys like her? Okay, cool. You have her. And you want to do this Wolverine with Logan over here? Okay, cool. You go do that story, and never the two shall meet, right? Or maybe there's a crossover issue where they get together. But the point is you're not gonna have two Logans running around at the same time. There was a point when Wolverine was a member of the X-Men, a member of the Avengers, a member of X-Force, and has his own book, and
Oh
they
my
were all
goodness.
happening at the same time. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, the dude ran on cocaine. I'm just saying. It's,
That's the only way they did that well over at DC in the 87 run of which was when it started. It's volume 2 of Superman was that they actually just crossed over, so you had to read one book a week for Superman, even though it was all 4 different titles allegedly of Superman. But they did that enough times that it actually worked, and
You know what?
otherwise they're just little side
Wait,
stories.
so did they just act as one like continuous Superman story?
Over and over again, yeah. They'd have crossovers like once a year, and so you'd go to Man of Steel, and then the next week was Superman, then the next week was whatever Adventures of, and then after that was just this plain Superman title or something like that. Yeah.
neat.
Well, yeah, they kept it organized. It made sense.
And they could do that because of the focused thinking that cocaine brings. We're back.
Well, I mean, like, also
I wasn't
Ritalin.
expecting that.
They made all the deadlines back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe someone from Colombia might sponsor the show.
Hey, Sam, I have been really
Yeah.
out of the loop for quite some time, so
Uh-huh.
I don't have a clue who you are, and I have never heard of Mighty Jump Comics. What is this?
Okay, so Mighty Jump Comics is my independent comic book company that has started up here, and I've written many things for, but doesn't exist anywhere else yet.
Okay.
I do have a YouTube channel called Mighty Jump Comics. Feel free to go there and subscribe. Although the last video I put out was for over a year ago, and every week on the show I say I'm gonna put out a new video one of these days, and it hasn't happened yet. But you guys keep my YouTube channel in your prayers, and one of these days a new video is gonna pop up. But
Just give
yeah.
up and join Arrow like Luke.
I joined this podcast. How long ago was it now? A few months ago, and I came on. It was funny. I'll give everybody the scoop right now, the behind the scenes scoop. So it was Dutton who contacted me on Twitter because I guess we were like tweeting. I was liking his tweets, he was liking mine, and we were liking lots of the same Comicsgate tweets online. And he asked me to come on as a guest. So I came on that first week, had a really fun time talking about comics, and then the second week I was just in the chat as an observer, and I really liked the conversation. And I remember I typed, "Oh man, I wish I was in on this episode." And Luke was like, "Well, then come on in," and he just shot me the link live during the episode, and I joined in for the second week, right? And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then at the end of the episode, like he didn't send me a note or anything. Luke was just like, "And I think Sam's going to be a regular on this podcast from here on out." And I was like, "Okay," and I just kept showing up. And so here I am. Now I'm a regular on the podcast, and that's how I got on. I didn't even know I was going to become a regular when I did. It just happened.
That's cool. And yes, I got your page loaded. I see 3 videos from 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ambitious. See, I always wondered, like, how did Luke and Justin end up together?
Yeah. How did that happen?
Me and Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you ready for this? Once upon a time.
Okay, now I'm ready.
All right. Earth, wind, fire, water. They all lived in peace. And then the Fire Nation attacked. I mean, wait, no, that's the wrong story. My bad. All right. So, there I was going. I need to do comic thinking stuff, and I was doing copious amounts of cocaine. And Luke was like, "Whoa, there, buddy! You can just have a V8." And I was like, "Hey, where'd you come from?" And he was like, "I'm at the gas station." And then space dinosaurs came, and we fought them off, summoning robot ninjas. And we also then breakdance on Sam's high top because it makes a great platform, especially if you have like little toy army men, because then he can be like a giant kaiju compared to the little army men.
You know, I'm not buying this at all. Like,
I just want to see where it went. I was like, let's just see where it goes.
He slowed down. I wanted to save it before it got too,
I think it was like me and him were on Shay's writing pose channel like about a year ago when she had like a bunch of writers and they would do topics on Red Valkyrie, which by the way, Red Valkyrie, go over there, like, subscribe, fantastic channel. Shay's great person. But yeah, me and Luke were on one of the things and talking about like a topic on writing, and it was the first time we met, and then I think one of us made like a Step Brothers reference, and then we just kind of kept doing Step Brothers references, and then we were like, "Yo, did we just become best friends?" We just became best friends. And then we were like, "Wow, we should do a podcast together." And then we're like, "Yeah, we should." And then we waited like months later, and then I was like, "Hey, that podcast, we should just do it." He's like, "When?" I'm like, "Next Tuesday." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then we did it, and that was like a few months ago.
That's when taking a break started. Okay, I'm caught up,
Nice.
and I don't know who's listening to us, but yeah, I'm caught up now. I got it.
Yeah. And then a sequel happened, and the Hollywood producer was like, "Yo, we run out of cocaine, and instead we're gonna reboot, and it's gonna be an all-female cast, but it's okay because Sam, if we just focus on your chest area, people will be like that they won't know the difference."
I'm lost.
In times like this, I find that it's best to just
Because Sam is
nod.
big.
Nod.
to nod and say yes, Dutton.
Because Sam is big, so I assume he has man tits.
He's not wrong.
Sam, you were supposed to disagree with me at least a little bit. You're like, yeah, no, I do.
I do. Goes with the weight.
So Blue,
Yeah.
how did you become a opposite of red colored samurai who's not number one because you're the prequel to number one?
Okay, I assume you're referring to my number 464. When the hardcover of The Crow came out in '94, it's the 1500 copy in the slipcase with the CD. I'm the original owner for number 646, and I wish I had it back. I made some bad choices in life. That's why I started putting that number on my name. So, the Blue Samurai Zero. Okay, the samurai part comes from something my dad said. I'm actually not a weeaboo, and using that as a name has not been a good idea.
See, Sam loves samurai stuff.
I'm a weeaboo. I thought you were my fellow weeaboo. No.
I know. So were you and Justin sort of, your eyes met across the tweets? Yeah. Sorry to be deceptive. No, my dad said something to me, and I realized it's his own fandom of samurai-ness. My parents were a bit in the wrong context.
The cool one in the family.
Yes. Sorry.
I said, so your dad's the cool one in the family. He likes samurais too.
Yeah, he thought a lot of things were neat because he studied physics and then became a patent attorney. So he got to look into how things worked pretty often. But the way back was he mentioned something to me that I should have taken as advice, and I realized much later in life I really needed as advice. But I think when he said it, he was just tossing out things he was interested in, and I don't know if it's true or not. All right, now that all that preface is out of the way. He had told me that the samurai had an idea that you're not in danger until the blade actually hits your skin.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that I've heard that as a samurai saying, but
Right.
it makes sense. I can follow the logic.
Yeah, and it covered the idea of because my dad did judo in college, not competitively, but he just did it. And it covered the idea of keeping calm, keeping your emotions in control, things like that, but also focusing on what's not just what's imminent, but what is immediate, and those kind of separations. Now, I think he wasn't giving me advice, but at the time, I really should have taken it as advice. That would have been helpful life advice. How do I say this kindly? I think they might not be able to. My parents were a bit self-interested, so you'd get to hang out and talk with. They had 7 kids. I'm in the middle of 7 kids, so you could hang out.
Making a basketball team plus backups.
They tried, but the Catholic faith is strong. So so by the way, I'm Lutheran. I'm not even Catholic. So, anyway. So I'm in the middle of that, and one of the things about my dad and his hobbies was that you notice I keep past tensing my dad. He passed away in 2012. So one of the deals with one of the deals with him was you could talk to him more if your hobby was something he was interested in, or if you just took interest in one of his hobbies. But other than that, you were pretty much on your own. So I remember when I was a little 7 and 8 year old going to a gymnastics class because I kind of had a knack for it, and I wasn't playing soccer like other kids. That's fine. Football. There we go. Football. I wasn't playing foosball like everyone else. And he said, "Hey, you do better if you lift some weights," and he kind of showed me a couple of dumbbells and was like, "Okay, good luck." And that's it. No involvement at all. And that's what, that's what I actually needed, was that kind of involvement from my dad. So anyway, so he did. I ended up.
Your dad really read the book the Fountainhead and was like, "Ooh, rugged individualism."
Not exactly. We figured.
Good luck, kids.
It's a very anime dad move.
Yeah.
He just leaves his kid on an island to train. He's like, "I'll be back in a year. Get strong."
Well, it sounds like that, but really the issue was he had his own interests and really didn't care what you were doing. But his deal, I figured out just this past year talking with somebody. I got eval'd for PTSD and some other things came up, and we figured out that my dad was in what you used to call Asperger's. So that explained a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I got a lot of things from him, like the samurai bit, which is where this all came from. So anyway, Blue was sometimes if you're just putting together passwords or usernames, you want to pick disparate things. So I picked a color, and I spelled out the number because you got to mix numbers in, but it's a username, not a password. Blah blah blah. And so these are disparate things that don't go together, and that's how it ended up. Yeah, there's my name.
Okay.
Because Justin, or sorry, because you asked.
Yeah.
And that was his origin story. Congratulations.
Right.
Yeah. I came from my father.
As long as 6 others.
Here, son, lift heavy things. It'll make you strong. All right, goodbye now.
At least, like, you know, considering you have like 6 other siblings, I didn't ever go, hey, just watch that Highlander movie. Realize that maybe one of us can spend a whole lot more time with Dad if there was only one.
That actually, I got, just to put a positive note on it. This isn't therapy, but my best memories of my dad. You know, after all the putting the kids to bed and everything else, and you get in trouble if you're up too late or whatnot, is I'd wake up at like 1 a.m. and just wander out. Hey, Pops. I'd wander out, and he'd be watching on public television old reruns of Flash Gordon and the Honeymooners and stuff like that. And so he'd feed me like wheat crackers for half an hour, and I got to, watch some of the old Flash Gordon with him, and then I'd get tired and go back to bed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole lot in common with my dad, but my dad is a preacher, and he'd be like a traveling evangelist. So I didn't see him a bunch unless I went with him on weekends where he would or on his weekday trips during summer when he would like go to far off places to preach. But one of the things that we did have in common was he liked wrestling. So like in the 90s, we would watch WWF wrestling. And for whatever reason, he thought television was a complete waste of time unless it was wrestling, or the only other time you'd catch him watching TV was he would watch Perry Mason. And I didn't necessarily like Perry Mason, but I would watch it with my dad because like it's better than turning the TV off. And I think that's possibly where my love of like detectives came from. That would add to my later like love of Batman and other detective stories. And to this point, like I even sort of gravitate towards detective anime and things like that. And so yeah, my dad when I was really young, wrestling and Perry Mason. So
does this influence the writing you're doing now?
Some of it, yeah, because I do really like detectives. I have a detective story I'm working on right now, tentatively called Hide and Zeke, and it's a play on the terms hide and seek. And it's about this Agent Hyde, which is not his real name. He's this ex-CIA sort of spy spook who sort of knows where the bodies are buried, and he knows about like the inner workings of the shadow government. And because he knows too much, they want to retire him, right? And then Zeke, he's a younger guy. He's like a guy in his like 30s who used to be he was kind of like a up and coming rising, like the youngest guy in the FBI to get whatever honors, right? And then one day he just left the FBI because something traumatic happened to him, and now he's a private PPI, which is a private and paranormal investigator. So he goes for missing children, but he also investigates things like aliens and ghosts, right? And it's this story. The idea is it's about the link between the supernatural and the shady side of like the idea of like the one world government and all that stuff. And so Hyde understands the government and how they hide money and like drugs and like the things in the government and how all that stuff works, the bureaucracy. And Seek understands the like the spiritual and the occult stuff. And so they kind of make up for what the other ones don't. So when they meet, they start working together to uncover all of these mysteries and things.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like detective stories.
So why? So work on it.
I do, and I will. Just life keeps happening to me. Like I need to, like I just bust my ass the better part of the day trying to get a new catalytic converter in my car, and like, right? I just like life stuff just keeps happening to me, and I have to go do life. Who doesn't want to do that? I want to sit around and like write comics all day, but other stuff keeps getting in the way. But yeah, that's one of a million stories that are in my head. And so on top of like writing, like sitting down and writing the story, it's figuring out which story it is I'm going to, because I can literally go on, like, first of all, I give you the Reader's Digest version of the story as it exists in my head. And I have no less than 30 other stories that I personally think are just as interesting. And so yeah, I have to figure out which one I'm going to sit down and write, and then sit down and write it.
Actually, it's not that hard. What you do is you take your ideas, you write them on like piece of paper, you put it in a hat, and then you just kind of shake. Okay, it's that one. And then then you call your sister and you're like, hey, I have the money, the funds, finally going to do a comic. This is the one. And then your sister's like, hey, you have a niece. You know, it'd be really cool if you made a comic for her. And you're like, yeah, but I have this one. I did a hat. I did a name thing. It's like, yeah, but is it kid friendly? Not at all. And it's like, yeah, but you should do one so your niece can have it. And that'd be really cool. And then you're like, I feel like I did this for nothing.
I
guess I'm gonna go make a thing about teddy bears now.
You know what you could do that would not be kid friendly, but would look it, Justin, is you could have adults who go through an accident that shoots them back in time in their own bodies at competing grade schools or middle schools.
Yup.
And because of their life experience, they start dealing cocaine. But not to the other middle schoolers. That would be wrong.
Or they go, hey, in the future, this person was really successful, and they kind of rubbed it in my face. Hey, man, I will give you a discount.
Sorry, back in time, we got him hooked on drugs.
Handicap this person's life.
We do have one question that's been hanging though, because this sounds so grade schoolish. Okay, we know what my dad does, and you did, and yours, Sam. Cough it up.
What, mine?
What's your dad do? What did your dad do?
Like currently, he's probably asleep.
Okay, all right.
Or he's watching Netflix. I mean, one of those two right now, currently.
Okay. My dad taught us that if anybody ever asked, because I've already told you he was a patent attorney, and believe me, that doesn't, patent attorney for corporate world does not mean money. When people hear a lawyer, they're like, money? No. And then you add 7 kids to that, it's like, oh, forget it. So y'all talk about your Transformers as kids? No, those things are expensive. So anyway, my dad taught us that if anybody asks, what does your father do? And it's because it's none of their damn business. There you go. I think you gave a good answer there, sir. It was, you tell him he's a skin diver for Roto-Rooter.
Is it just meant to like confuse people?
Well, if they don't know what Roto-Rooter is, yeah.
I have no idea what Roto-Rooter is.
They fix septic tanks.
Oh, okay. Ew.
There you go.
Well, to be fair, so my dad's been mostly a truck driver in my life, but he's not truck driving anymore. So I really don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. So I mean, but right now at this time of night, he's either watching Netflix or he's sleeping or like doing a combination of the two.
That's cool. My
Oh,
dad
okay.
did the same thing. If the TV was on, he wasn't.
Oh.
Wait, what?
He'd fall asleep a lot.
Oh, okay.
Well, your dad also was like, I got 7 kids. I need to watch, like, have them watch Highlander and then put like a sword in front of them and be like, yo, there can only be one. I got my own hobbies, and y'all all got hobbies too, and there ain't enough money for the hobbies for everyone. I'm not giving up my hobbies, so I need y'all to figure out which kid's gonna make it.
If you've ever known somebody on the autism spectrum, they go from hobby to hobby to hobby. They super deep dive on it, and then they're done, and they move to the next one. And so, like, after he died, we had to open up the closets, and I'm just like, what? I mean, floor to ceiling in the closet, like, just, oh, I remember when he was into this. When was he into that? You know, just unbelievable. Like, he literally just packed a hobby away and moved on to the next thing. And, you know, when he got involved in guns, it was learning how to tinker properly with the springs on the triggers and revolvers to, I mean, fine detail on how much powder you want in your reloaded bullet, how that relates to how hard the hammer is going to strike. Just, oh my gosh, he was detailed.
You know what? Your father would have loved today's generation where you can just like 3D print guns because he's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where he would have put it, but yeah, he probably would have gotten a 3D printer.
Was there much crime in your neighborhood growing up?
No. Strangely.
Well, it's because your dad kind of sounds like a vigilante superhero.
Yes.
Maybe he fought crime at night when you guys were sleeping, and that's why there wasn't much crime around. It's like he was into a million different things, and he had a bunch of guns and tools, and kind of sounds like Batman.
That's why he'd fall asleep after work every day, because he was up all night.
To protecting the neighborhood all night.
He just made a recording of himself snoring and played that on the boombox, you know, from his bedroom. Anyway, I don't mean to monopolize. I'm sorry.
Hey, if my dad was Batman, I'd monopolize the conversation too.
Yeah.
I mean, if my dad was Batman, I'd get in trouble. I'd be like, oh, Batmobile, boomerangs, batarangs. Oh gosh, I'm gonna become like a vigilante villain son.
Well, how do you know either of you don't have Batman for a dad? Yours is a truck driver.
Well, mine's is fat and out of shape, so I mean that doesn't work.
Yeah, my dad doesn't have the physique to fight crime. Unless he's like, okay, so like I watch enough anime that like they go against the conventions, and sometimes someone can be like so intelligent and use like such an unorthodox like means of taking down a bad guy that they don't necessarily have to be physically fit. Like they could just trick criminals into like giving themselves up and things like that. And so maybe my dad was some sort of like weird, wacky, eccentric, like super vigilante. And being a traveling evangelist was just his cover to like go to different places and fight evil people.
He was Tyler. Your dad was Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Oh man, no. When I saw my dad's waist size once was a 44, and I'm like, whoa, that's a big number, you know. My life goal has been to never fit in his pants.
To never fit in his pants.
Wait, did we extinguish all of our comic book news? Was this like a dry comic book news week? Was it just like the Captain America thing?
Yeah, I mean it was a bit dry. Also it was like Norm Macdonald died, so that threw me
Yeah,
off.
that
And
sucks.
Wait, did he really?
yeah, he died
Yeah,
today at
I
61.
googled it on this in a
Cancer.
different tab after he said it. Yeah, it's for real.
Oh, wait, I tried to look for that. I didn't catch it. Dang, oh.
Yeah, the
That
Wikipedia
sucks.
has already been updated. Today is his day. His death day. It sucks. Hey, if there's anyone else on listening to this podcast that lives in California, go vote. Today's the last day to vote. Recall Newsom. He sucks. And select Larry Elder to replace him. Do that.
Please.
Even if you weren't planning on voting, do it for me. because I really want you to. Please.
Well,
Please help.
Please help.
Well, I'm not gonna
You're
vote.
California voters.
Well, I'm not gonna vote, but I'm also in North Carolina, so there's that.
Like that matters.
You want to hear? This has nothing to do with comics, and it's a little conspiratorial, but
Oh no.
yeah. Yesterday when I went to go do the early voting, I went in and I voted and it seemed all fine, and they asked me for this information that you needed to confirm you are who you say you are.
Mhm.
Although I never had to show them my ID, I just had to prove that I knew that I knew the information that I guess only Sam Mwangi would know.
Mhm.
And so I voted. On the way out, I was walking back to my car in the parking lot and I saw a driver's license on the ground. And I picked it up and I looked around and I didn't see the guy, and I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, losing your driver's license sucks because it's like a big inconvenience. You need your driver's license for stuff. And so I noticed that the address on the license wasn't far from where I was. And so I was like, I'll just go to his house and like knock on his door and like give him his driver's license back. So I went to the address and the guy wasn't home, but his mom was. And she asked, hey, when I was giving it back, she was like, thank you. But did you notice anything else there? Like, was it, other cards, wallet? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, that's strange because his entire wallet went missing about a week ago. And I was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, all I found was the driver's license, right? So I gave it back to her. And then on my way leaving their house, it dawned on me all the information that they needed to confirm that I was who I said I was to vote could be found on my driver's license.
Oh.
So then I thought, did someone like use this guy's ID to vote in his name? Right? So I went back and first I told the lady that, his mom, to pass that on to like, hey, tell your son to like double check and make sure no one's voted in his name. And then I went back to the polling place and I was like, hey, I told them the story. I gave them his name.
Mhm.
I spelled it correctly because I had his license for a while. And I was like, hey, if there's any like weirdness with this guy's name, and just remember this story I told you because there might be something afoot. Right. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but it just dawned on me with all like talk about like voter fraud and all that. Like, I wouldn't put it past people to be like stealing people's wallets and then taking their IDs and going and voting in their name. Because here's the thing, even though like voting is all this turnout, record turnout, it's still a matter of fact that most people who can vote don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they get 2 votes from the same person, then they'll know something's up. But if you steal the ID of someone who wasn't planning on voting at all, and you vote in their name, I think it's relatively easy to get away with that. And that's concerning.
Why it should be done on blockchain. But that's
I agree.
And
I
at least,
agree wholeheartedly.
And even just to take it down a notch, if you're stealing wallets for money, and then you realize, hey, I can double my vote, as opposed to stealing wallets for IDs in order to double your vote. But
yeah.
See, I just wish people could double their vote like the old days. You just grow a really big bushy beard, you go vote, and then you shave the mustache section, but you still got the beard, and you go vote, and then you shave the beard, and then you go vote, and then you go home and you change your clothes, and then you go vote.
And that's how I met Luke.
It was my third time voting, and I noticed that I'd seen that guy before, and it turns out it was Luke's second time voting.
That stealing wallets, we should make stealing, really severe, like not just a crime, but like a sin. We should make it a sin.
I know, right? If only someone had the forethought to like make stealing a sin, and then like write it down somewhere that everybody could see, like on a stone tablet, right? Like where everyone could see, like this.
Yeah, like choose a particular clan or tribe early in history before the earth was so populated, and use them as messengers to tell everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
might be wrong.
But here's a counterpoint, though, right? Is in the background, I know Sam has a bunch of cool Jordans and Nike shoes back there, and I don't have them. So, I mean, a pair of kicks is a pair of kicks.
I mean, a foot in the ass is a foot in the ass.
Yeah, but then you're gonna like devalue the kicks. Why are you gonna...
I'll put my lesser nice shoes on before that becomes
my lesser nice. Blake, wait a second, I'm gonna kick your ass, but first let me open up my box of like foot booties and
I got these from Payless. Let me take up the
all these shoes I have are nice. My cheapest shoes like $80. I gotta make sure I put the little plastic foot shoe condom on. Come on now.
You got a grocery bag over your foot. I'm gonna kick your ass.
I gotta kick your ass, but also like, don't scuff my shoe. Don't scuff my shoe.
Can you imagine the UFC if they were all like in protective plastic and everything, snorkels behind them and stuff?
You know what, my dudes? I feel like this might be a good closing section. The way we do this, Blue, is tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, I'm at home right now. That's where you. No, apparently I'm like really hard to find on YouTube. I don't know why, but somebody told me I need to put the words Blue and Samurai and Zero and then squish them together and like add those tags to my videos. But I do have a YouTube channel. Apparently no one can find it. So check my Twitter. I exist on Twitter, and then maybe you'll find a link there once I start posting videos again. That's probably the best way. Also, I don't know the format for this show because I've been busy with some other part of my life and kind of got out of the loop. So if this was supposed to be comics news and not just dudes hanging out, sorry that if I completely blew the show for you guys.
It's fine. We blew the show ourselves.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all good. I mean, when there's comics news, we'll talk comics news. When we feel like talking about other stuff, we'll talk about other stuff. And I guess now it's my turn.
Pressure. No pressure.
Cool.
But it's on you. No pressure.
I have like a stack of saved videos for you to watch of you guys.
Yeah, so you can find me at Mighty Jump Comics the same way Blue Samurai did. So do like him. You can also find me at Mighty Jump Comics with an X on Twitter. You can also find me on Twitter at God's BLK Friend. And you used to be able to find me as God's Black Friend on Instagram, but the other day I was posting, "Hey, Larry Elder's great. Go vote for him." And then I woke up one day and my Instagram had been deleted.
Oh,
with no warning. And so you can't find me at God's Black Friend on Instagram anymore because it doesn't exist. But yeah, you can find me all those other places, and you can also find me here every Tuesday at Taking a Break, talking about comics.
I feel like he did the very elongated thumbs up, hoping that I would click off of him. But jokes on him. All right, we're going back to blue.
My thumbs
I don't know
are up.
I believe it. All right. You know what? Y'all can't see it, but in the back studio, he still has his thumbs up, which he knows. I'm just waiting to push the button. Like,
Justin, I saw movement in the window reflection. Who's in the room with you?
oh no, that's just a ghost, man. Just don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's just a ghost.
It's like in the doorway in front of you. Okay.
Hey, just don't worry about what you see. Right? Which I actually have a story of a ghost that trolls other ghosts and annoys them and makes them like cross over just to get away from him. All right. So you can find me on Facebook at Justin Dutton. You can find me on Twitter at Justin Dutton 18. You can find me here every Tuesday 8-ish when I'm not running late. I'm sorry about that. To 9-ish. And man, we're really hoping that Luke can come back and join us. It's been a while. And you know, he's still doing it. He's still doing it. I'm like more impressed than anything now.
He's frozen.
He's still doing it. You know what? Is he frozen? Sam, bosom.
He blinked. He blinked.
Bosom.
We're good.
No, he blinked.
He's alive.
He blinked. Yep, he's alive. All right, he's not a taxidermy. All right, and then in like, I don't know, 30 minutes, I'm gonna go to like Sam's house through teleportation and steal some kicks. And you know what? He didn't do the thumbs up. There we go.
Dang it.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Come back. And there'll be like more comic news. And stuff.
Oh,
And Blue, if you want
way-
to come back, you can come back. That'd be
Yeah,
really.
come on back. I was gonna say we were supposed to do an in-depth review of the Shang-Chi movie this week. That's what we said last week. So I guess we're doing it next week.
Yeah, that'd be great because I did not go and watch it because I instead went go-karting on Sunday. I had a really fun time because I was like, "Hey, beautiful lady friend, you want to go go-karting?" And she was like, "That sounds really awesome." And then we went go-karting.
I just got an image in my head of something like you sitting down at some sort of outdoor, imagine like California beach. So you got outdoor tables and whatnot. And hey, you want to go karting sometime? And she says, yeah, and stands up and walks away. You know, like she's going. Off she goes.
Hey, the go-karts are that way though.
It's like, I just brought you food. Where are you going? Go-karting. I don't know. 80s movies I never watched. Things like Leslie Nielsen type. Anyway, so everybody have a good night in the States.
All right.
Take care of yourselves.
Good night. I forgot. Are you in Australia?
No.
Okay, you just said the States.
Where are you?
Well, that's
Where
where
are
it's
you
nighttime. I'm in that bunker.
That's right.
I live in that bunker that's in the island from Lost that stopped moving around somewhere in the Pacific.
Oh, well, all right. So
Right.
to be fair, I don't know anyone knows anything about Lost.
That's
I think
okay.
the whole point of Lost
It's
was to be
also-
lost in that
From
show.
his point of view, it's also 1979.
Yeah, and that show sucked.
Yeah. You know what? So I need you to go back in time to your third grade body and like find J.J. Abrams and just like, I don't know, really bully him, like
Yeah,
relentlessly, and be like, "Lost is stupid," and he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And then hit him and be like, People on an island? That's just dumb. And then hit him again.
Yeah, give him the idea by talking about it. That's the
Polar bears on an island? That's dumb. Hit him. Ghost monsters on an island? That's dumb. A bunker on an island? Dumb.
Or
Every episode of convoluted backstory? Dumb.
Or we find J.J. Abrams and he's being bullied, so now we have to save him. So,
yeah, right.
It's like, why are you sticking up for this little dweeb? Because if I don't stick up for this little dweeb, he will create horrible movies in the future.
If I don't, he kills Star Wars.
Yeah.
All
All
right. Well, good night.
Bye.
And don't forget that
Where are the thumbs? There.
Kaiju, like he can just platform like little army men on the hair. All right. You know what? Screw it. This is a good. Just stay like that. 3, 2, hey, Sam, bosom. Man, you didn't break a laugh on bosom. You're a man of strong confidence.
It's the red button, Justin.